In today's video, we are going to discuss why we as women should never build up a man. I'm recording this video in the context of Ariana Grande's and Dalton Gomez's divorce following the news of their separation. So I'm going to be using their relationship to illustrate why we should never build up a man, because I have a strong suspicion that that is what was going on here. Quick disclaimer before we start. Everything I'm going to say in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. I'm not trying to shame either of them for their divorce. Actually, I feel bad for them as divorces are tough, and I wish the best for both of them. So reports have come out that allegedly the reason for their split is due to scheduling differences and the fact that Dalton didn't realize how famous Ariana Grande actually is. So let's analyze this. I would argue that Ariana Grande fits in the strong, independent woman archetype. She's hardworking, successful, and independent. She supports herself financially. She has built many departments of her life by herself, and she is self-reliant for most things in her life. Let me start off by saying being a strong woman is very admirable because it's not easy. A lot of these strong, independent women have been thrust into this role because of their life circumstances. So this is my opinion. In the beginning, Dalton was very attracted to this quality that Ariana has. Men tend to say things like they love women with ambition, they like independent women, and they like when women can be self-sufficient. At first, yes, this may be attractive to them, but that is because they don't really understand what this entails. Dalton and Ariana were a quarantine couple. They spent their whole quarantine together and quickly got married a few months afterwards. Well, what do we know about quarantine? During quarantine, the world was put on pause, so everyone was living in a little bubble. Ariana's career was momentarily put on hold during this time because she wasn't allowed to tour or hold concerts. So when things started going back to normal is when Ariana began resuming her career. And so as a result, I believe that Dalton never saw the depths of her always being at work, always focusing on her career, and he didn't realize how demanding her job is. So his Ariana, I love how ambitious you are, and Ariana, I love that you're such a career woman, now became, Ariana, you never make time for me, and Ariana, I hate that you work so much. This is typically what happens when men get into relationships with the alpha female types. This quality that men think they love about these women becomes what they hate because they simply cannot handle the fact that something else takes priority over them. Dalton is a luxury real estate agent. So he is a man of caliber, but he doesn't come anywhere close to the amount of wealth or status that Ariana Grande does. So really, there wasn't much that Dalton could provide Ariana with because she had already achieved everything herself. She already had the lifestyle, the connections, and the celebrity status. Him even being with Ariana boosted his status and probably his career as well through her celebrity connections because he was a real estate agent for high status clients. So we can see that in this dynamic, it was Ariana who was the breadwinner and she was the one boosting up his career. No one had ever heard of him before they got married. Now this goes back to our biological build. Men are hardwired to provide and protect, but in Ariana's case, there really wasn't much providing or protecting that Dalton was able to give her because she had already had it herself. She had already built everything herself. So this is what happens when men date independent women. They don't understand the role that they play in their women's lives. They will start to feel, well, what good am I to her if I can't even give her the two basic elements that I was hardwired to do, whether this be consciously or subconsciously. This is what I think ultimately led to the divorce because he was unable to find fulfillment in being her partner because he unconsciously couldn't understand how he fit into her life or what role he was meant to play because the two basics he wasn't able to provide her. This is really the first time in history that we have had relationships where the woman is the breadwinner. Historically, it has always been the man. So this feels unnatural to men because it goes against their evolutionary makeup. This is why it's so common for relationships where women are the breadwinners to end because men are unable to process this. They feel emasculated, and in the end, they don't appreciate all that the woman has done for them. They will always take advantage of all that the strong, independent type woman does for them. So what is the solution and how can we apply this to our real lives? I would argue that the answer is to never date a man below your stature, financially, status-wise, or even looks-wise. We as women need to start raising the criteria for the type of men that we will accept in relationships. By raising our standards, men will have an incentive to improve and meet those expectations. So let's say, for example, you are a nurse, but the man you're interested in works in retail. As a nurse to a retail worker, you will be seen as a strong, independent woman because you are so much more above him in terms of finances, whereas someone like an engineer or a surgeon will view you as a delicate woman who needs to be provided for and protected because they have the means to give that to you. The retail worker doesn't, so naturally he will see you as a woman to build with. Finances really do play a huge role in relationships, and it's just naive to say that they don't. This is why I always advise women to only go for men who are above them in terms of their career and their earnings. Men are also very competitive by nature, so when you are on or above his career level in terms of income, he will always feel like he is competing with you. So really, the best way to avoid this dynamic is by only dating men who are above you in that regard. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree or do you disagree? And if you've liked this video, you'll like the next one even more.